they will be cursed. Your children's children will be cursed. You guys have it in your heart to say thank you. Thank you to Jared Kushner and Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu, who are just business partners playing a role, convinced that we're all so stupid. I mean, let's roll the clip back from Jared Kushner when he sat down at Harvard, Mossad operation, to speak about their aim. This is February 15th, 2024. Take a listen.
There are real...
Okay, before she goes over there, it's actually very interesting. But the issue that I have with Candace Owens is this selective outreach. Okay? Selective outreach. Let's not forget, okay, there was wars in Afghanistan that happened, wars that happened in Iraq. Trust and believe that place was also what? It was also devastated. Any videos about Candace Owens? Worrying about the children of Afghanistan, of Iraq? All of a sudden, it's about, should I trust and believe that, she's very much concerned about the children in Gaza. What about the children in Ukraine? How about them? Do they matter? What about in Venezuela? What's happening there? So it's all this selective outrage. But now, because this issue, you have the Jews who are involved. Hey, sorry. So to me, even if somebody has a very good argument, but because Candace Owens, she has this proven track record of everything. It's the Jews, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. So even when she's saying something that's actually true, it's very difficult to take her seriously because she has just lost her credibility when it comes to this, okay? So yes, if the Jews have done things, you gotta call it out. Calling them out on those things, that doesn't mean the person is anti-Semite. But Candace Owens, everything, once the person has been identified to be a Jew, forget about it, okay? So let's listen into how this transpired. Kushner is also a Jew, by the way. Okay, this is Trump's son-in-law.
Fears on the part of Arabs, and I'm sure you talk to a lot of them, who think once Gazans leave Gaza, Netanyahu's never going to let them back in.
Maybe, but I'm not sure there's much left of Gaza at this point. So, if you think about even the construct, Gaza was not really a historical precedent, right? It was the result of a war. Right, you had tribes that were in different places, but then Gaza became a thing. Egypt, used to run it, and then, over time, you had different governments that came in different ways. So you have another war. Usually when wars happen, borders are changed historically over time. And so my sense is I would say, how do we deal with the terror threat that is there, so that it cannot be a threat to Israel or to Egypt, right? I think that both sides are spending a fortune on military. I think neither side really wants to have, a terrorist organization enclaved right between them. And Gaza's waterfront property. It could be very valuable to, if people would focus on kind of building up, livelihoods. You think about all the money that's gone into this tunnel network and into all the munitions. If that would have gone into education or innovation, what could have been done? And so I think that it's a little bit of an unfortunate situation there. But I think from Israel's perspective, I would do my best to move the people out and then clean it up. But I don't think that Israel has stated that they don't want the people to move back there afterwards.
And Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize, by the way, for the planned ethnic cleansing so that they could profit on the land and turn it into a beach town. So let me say this. This is our...
Okay, so before she goes in, okay, so brace yourself. She's going to be, we are going in territory, witchcraft territory, she's about to say. So, where do I even start with this? All right, fine. When it comes to the issues in the Middle East, what I have noticed, okay, not all, but in large parts, Candace, I'll just put Candace over here. Candace Owens, she is just not familiar with the history of the Middle East, okay? So she has managed to get these talking points along the way, and she parrots those. And usually they're going to pull to your heartstrings, and it's just going to be, that's it, okay? But there's so much history that goes behind this geopolitical and everything. Is it true that there's been innocent people who have actually been killed in Gaza? Yes, women, children, and men, 100% true. When it comes to war, right, there will always be innocent casualties. There has never been a war in the history of mankind that only bad guys were killed. All innocent people are also going to be killed. We shouldn't forget that. That's what happens at war. Gaza, okay? Remember, before, it is actually true, when the Gazans get the money, they never use that money to develop. They use the money to actually dig tunnels. That's why there's a whole bunch of tunnels in Gaza, okay? They use, rocket launchers. They even turn the water pipes into rocket launchers. That's what they do. Because in their mind, don't forget, right? So there's a battle that's going on over here. You have to them, right? Jews are infidels. Christians are also infidels. So it is in their interest, as far as their theology is concerned, right? To get rid of infidels by any means necessary. If they don't do it today, they'll do it tomorrow. If they don't do it tomorrow, they'll do it another day. Their mission is to do that. So that's why when you go under the Geneva Convention of War, I don't know, we're going history tangent over here, but just follow with me. Whenever you're fighting war, the military is supposed to be in uniform. Okay? So when the Gazans are out there, the Hamas, they are all in their military gear. Okay, the green bandanas and everything. But this time around, when they were fighting, you couldn't see the green bandanas anywhere. So they look like civilians. So now you're fighting with the IDF soldiers. They have to identify, is this person enemy or a foe, right? Is this person a combatant or is it an innocent person? So all those things, right? Those are the dynamics. Those are the dynamics that happen. And in fact, a report just came out like, okay, this is the least casualty war, urban warfare that has claimed innocent lives. It's the least compared to all the other wars. So those are the numbers that are there, okay? One life is one too many, but I'm just telling you these things. Gaza, the Jews used to live in Gaza, okay? Side by side with Palestinians there. They had their farms, the greenhouse, and everything. Was it in 1990 or 95, right? They expelled the Jews. They signed an agreement. They didn't want the Jews to live there. So much so that they even had to dig their dead Jews to go back to Israel. And no Israelis in Gaza. So at some point, Gaza was under Jordan, okay? The king of Jordan is just too much violence to be like, no, I'm not interested. Then it was in the responsibility of Egyptians. So the Egyptians, they had their troubles over there. Where you have these Hamas, these are the same people that make up Muslim Brotherhood. They topple the government in Egypt. So that's why the border between Gaza and Egypt is like you've never seen. They didn't want them there. So in the Islamic world, when it comes to they look down upon the Palestinians, okay? They look down upon the Palestinians' blood for some reason. They only want to use them when it comes to advanced terror for whatever the reason in their whatever these ideologies. So it's not like, it does look like it's David and Goliath because Israel has the military power and all these other things, but their entire goal over here, these Hamas people, is that issue, right? From the river to the sea. Their goal is like, okay, we need to get rid of these Jews. So those are the things, there's a spiritual component to all this because all this conflict didn't start today, all the way back. Abraham, right? You have Ishmael and Isaac. So yes, there will be peace. It's just going to be temporary. That land will always have those particular issues. But Candace doesn't even want to give people a background to this issue in any way. In fact, the report just came out, United Nations, they have enough food to take care of the people in Gaza for the next 3 months. But the story was what? There's famine in what? In Gaza. They actually use human shield. For them to do that, there's nothing wrong with that issue. And this is just a fact. But she's not going to explain all those things. It is true, 85% of Gaza has actually been demolished because they had the school. Underneath the school, they have a military, military tent. The hospitals, underneath the hospital, there's, command and control centers. So a whole place over there has been wiped out. So it needs to be rebuilt. Who is going to do it? It's going to require money. So which rich person do you know is going to put money in Gaza and not expecting a return? Name me one who is willing to donate. The Gazans don't have money to reconstruct there. They cannot afford it. They don't have anything. So anybody who wants to go and do this, they will ask for their return in their own investment. Whatever you think about that. Either it will just stay there like that to be in ruins, but there's no place for people to live. What's going to happen? So she never wants to bring any background to these issues. It's a very touchy subject, I do grant for sure. Because you see all those pictures, right? The children, all these other things, but everything in context. Yeah, it'll be good if they can be living at peace with their neighbors over there. It'll actually be good. So it's unfortunate. So now, pay attention to what she's about to say, okay? We have, what Jared Kushner says, like, yeah, 85% is destroyed. What's going to happen, right? Yeah, so all these people are going to go there and do the investment. Absolutely, they're going to go there and do their investment. So while we are busy looking like, okay, these are the things that are happening, whatever, in Gaza, what are these things that are happening in these cities? Gentrification that's going on in all these cities. Oceanfront property. Can you even go and live at Martha's Vineyards, even if you wanted to? So this is the world we live in. So now, enter Candace Owens out here, okay? She's about to pronounce some curses. So pay attention.
Ever again, okay? This is a Holocaust. A Holocaust just happened. A real Holocaust just happened. And we will never forget this. You need to tell your children what happened in Gaza. You need to tell them exactly who did it, exactly whose families were involved in this. And when you hear in the future somebody tell you, like, we're going to Gaza Beach for a vacation, you need to look at them like they are the absolute vermin of our society, because they are. They are. Their children will be cursed, okay? If you go and you play in the sand where you know that your forefathers planned to mass murder children, you will be cursed. Every person who steps foot on that, every family that is set to inherit what they did, they will be cursed. Your children's children will be cursed. Gaza belongs to nobody but the Palestinians. So when you begin to move the Israelis in there, and when the Trump Hotel gets built on there, I caution the rest of the world to stay far away from that cursed land, because something is coming. You can't commit that much evil in broad daylight and not think it's going to come back to haunt you. Anyways, God bless. May he get his Nobel Peace Prize. Sticking with that.
Yes. So she has pronounced curses for people who are going to go to the beaches, oceanfront property in Gaza. Not only are you cursed, your children, so the entire generation. This is some witchcraft level going on over here, okay? We don't pronounce curses on people. It's sinful. It is wrong. Whatever people are doing, right or wrong, God will see to it, because vengeance belongs to God. He will repay. So my question is, has Candace ever been to Hawaii? Has she ever been to Hawaii? Has she enjoyed the beaches of Hawaii? And we do know how America ended up to possess Hawaii as its territory when you look at the history that happened. Do you think children died? Did people die in Hawaii? The answer is yes, they did die. How many rich people have their nice houses in Hawaii? It's an American territory now. So when you go to Hawaii, are your children cursed? Because you are enjoying the beaches of Hawaii at the expense of the people who died there. What about over here, the Native Americans who were already here? So what? If you live in Phoenix or this other land, are you also cursed? Are you also your children cursed? Or that doesn't apply? It only applies to Gaza. Oh my goodness. This is what happened. This selective outrage. And by the way, Candace Owens happens to be married to who? George Farmer. Okay? And George Farmer, he's what? He's English. And remember, the British Empire, right? Conquered the entire world. So when she goes to enjoy England, is she also accountable to all these other things? Because the British Empire had conquered the entire world? You see where this is going? So you can never land anywhere where you're going to stop. So have things, discuss things in a proper way. So the question is this, right? Do you want Gaza to be developed? Yes or no? Because right now it's just a rebel. It's okay for her to say, like, you know what? When it is developed, make sure the people there are not displaced. I think that's fair, okay? Because if you're going to develop Mexico, then you displace the people. Mexico, where are they going to go? Out here, you can displace Mexicans. They can go to Mexico, right? They can go back to Cuba. They can go here. They have a place where you go. If you displace the people who are living in Gaza, where exactly are they going to go? They can't go to Egypt. They can't go to Jordan. Jordan already has it's what, 70% Palestinians. They don't want them there. Okay? They're not going to go to Israel. Israel doesn't want them there. So where are they going to go? So I think if she says that, okay, when they develop it, make sure you don't displace those people. That's actually a fair point. Develop it and don't displace those people. The people who are doing bad acts, take care of it accordingly. Okay? Take care of it accordingly. Those are the things that you can do, because the place is destroyed. So it definitely needs to be rebuilt. But to say that, okay, so once it's developed, wouldn't it be wise for people to be able to go there so they can bring in their buildings, their hotels, their money, so that it can stay developed? Because if the money is not coming in, what happens, right? When people are deprived of the necessities, they resort to what? They resort to violence. So it's actually a good thing for that place to be developed. What you can argue is, once they develop it, they should not stifle the resources to the people. They should do things that are actually fair to the people. You get the point, right? Because when we go to this, okay, this country has a lot of oil. Okay, let's do good deals. So it benefits you, the investor, as well as the people who own the place. So that way everybody wins, is the point that I'm making. But she just can't say it like that. She just said, oh no, you guys are going to be cursed, all this. Just like, no, it's so unbiblical, okay? So we had scriptures over here, guys. 2 Chronicles 33. It's 2 Chronicles 33:6. And this is Manasseh out here, okay? And he burned his sons as an offering in the valley of the son of Hinnom, and used fortune telling and omens and sorcery, and dealt with mediums and with necromancers. He did much evil in the sight of the Lord, provoking him to anger. The Lord does not like witchcraft necromancers. And remember, we are coming at the hills where Candace is telling us that Charlie appeared to her in a dream to give her a message that he was betrayed. Okay? So you are speaking to the dead. That's necromancy. We are not supposed to be speaking to the dead. We are not supposed to be speaking to the dead. Okay? But she came out and said that as if it's actually a good thing. So she is, this lady is very, very dangerous, because she says things that has got some spiritual tones to it, but those things are very demonic. Okay? This is very demonic. Pronouncing curses on the people. Okay? You are telling us that somebody appeared you in a dream, and you're passing it on that, oh, you can quote me on it. Take that to the bank. It's so unbiblical. So don't be, she can do her investigation. So why are you injecting in some of this witchcraft terminology to it? So it tells me, is your heart in the right place? What's fueling you? What's behind all this? Is this the spirit of God or spirit of divination? What's going on? Okay? Ephesians 4:29. Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouth, but only such as is good for building up. How is cursing generations building up? As fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. How, whatever she says over there, how is that helpful? You can actually say, develop the land, but make sure the people there are not displaced. Develop the land, make sure those people also benefit from those things. Why can't she just say that? Why can't she just say that? Remember, for example, Vegas, right? That place thrives on tourism. So they want people to go there because that's how they make money. So all these beach properties, if nobody's visiting them, how else are they going to be making their money? Huh? But you should be promoting like good business practices. If she come out and say those things, I think that's fair. Okay? Those things are good. Are they going to be people who are going to come in and take advantage of this Gaza property? Yes, they will be there for sure. We cannot discount that, because where Gaza is, it's just a strip. You know what I mean? Around the coast of the Mediterranean. It's actually beautiful, beautiful oceanfront property, for real. It's just a strip over there. So if it can actually be developed, it can actually benefit the people. But I'm sure there'll be vultures who are also wanting to take advantage of that situation and enrich themselves. So if she comes out and say those things, nobody would be against that. But she just say all this, curses, all this, it's wrong. But the scriptures reads, okay, Ephesians 4:30. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from among you with all malice. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ has forgiven you. So you don't want to hold, these grudges against people. It's ungodly. It's not good. So Candace has been also in a feud with this lady, okay? Laura Ruma. She's also Jewish. They used to be friends. Now they've parted ways, as you can see. As you can see. So, wait a minute. Let me do that. Oh, you won't be able to see? Oh. Well, she says, I'll read it to you guys. It's so, these people, man. It's like they're fighting amongst themselves. They used to be friends, both of them, MAGA, the whole 9 yards. So she put out this tweet, so vile of her as well. Just like, just speak properly. If you disagree with somebody, why do people just resort to this type of bad language? Look what she says over here. Candace Owens. This woman would be in her basement under her name called Red Pill Black if it weren't for President Trump. She owes her entire career to President Trump and his family. She even had her wedding at one of his properties. She is the biggest grifter and opportunist. She was always a liberal, and she doesn't speak for me, MAGA, or the Trump base. But Laura Ruma does. Donald Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for securing many peace deals, not just between Israel and Hamas. She doesn't speak for MAGA. She has and always will only speak for herself and the voices in her head. I'm so sick of these Ingrid influencers attacking Donald Trump after they used him to acquire worth and fame. And there it is. So Laura Roma is responding, calling out Candace Owens over what I just shared with you, what she said as far as Gaza situation is concerned.
Obviously, I was looking to see what people thought about the text messages, and it was really funny. I came across a clip of Matt Walsh, who I adore. It's very funny. And he was saying about the Charlie Kirk messages, he actually thought they were fake because he said he couldn't believe the sentence that felt too on the nose. He's like, I genuinely thought that there's no way Charlie would ever leave the pro-Israel lobby. First and foremost, his support for Israel, he loved it so much. So it's like, you must have done a lot to make him actually write that statement, which felt too on the nose to Matt Walsh in that text message. I have no choice but to lead the pro-Israel cause. And anyways, he gave some very sage advice, which is not going to be heeded by the Josh Hammers of the world, about what that really means, that your behavior pushed even Charlie Kirk away.
Victor up, like, oh, you know what? I got it. I finally convicted Charlie Kirk, okay? He was leaving the pro-Israel cause, and he was going to have a reunion with me, Candace Owens, on the stage, okay? So, but the text message doesn't say that. It just says, I'm thinking of inviting Candace Owens, but we're dealing with Candace Owens. So that might as well be, I'm thinking of taking back Candace Owens, okay? In all capacities.